Hi, Anna.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
All right. So Regina's stuck on a client call, and I didn't want to keep you waiting, so I figured we can just get started. And if she gets off in time,
Okay,
great. Otherwise, it'll just be the two of us.
okay,
But I know you and I had a chance to chat a little bit the other day, but just thought it'd be nice to chat face to face
sure.
and really hear your story from the beginning. We always like to start at the beginning, from graduating from college, and hear a little bit about why you made the different moves that you did.
Okay.
Of course, focusing on the most relevant experience, and then I'll do my best to answer any other questions you might have about Bank of America.
Okay.
So let's start with you. Graduating in '83, it looks like, from Wharton.
Yes. So at the time I was looking to go into the bank credit training program and was focused on regional banks because there was a greater opportunity to work directly with customers as
Okay.
opposed to going through a formal credit process, which in some of the bigger banks would have been basically a repeat of a lot of stuff I learned in college. So I moved to Baltimore in '83, spent a year going through the credit training program, and then was selected to move into the Treasury area, where I was focused on basically FX or foreign exchange sales. So I worked with the corporate clients in developing hedging strategies, which again at that point were mostly smaller companies, so small to mid-sized companies, and we were basically bringing a tool by which they could protect themselves from adverse currency change.
Okay.
After 2 years in that role, I went to business school, and you'll see that I returned to Maryland National, although that wasn't planned. But I had gone to Duke because of its emphasis on more of a team process, and I liked the environment, and I actually got a nice financial aid package or scholarship actually, so that made a big difference. And I met my wife there. She was a year behind me, so we were engaged in Duke Gardens, and that's about 25 years ago now that we got married. I rejoined Maryland National primarily because while I was in graduate school, the securitization market really developed, and MBA, or Maryland National, was a leader in that through MBA, and my focus initially was on many of the bank-originated loan products, so that would be marine loans, car loans, aircraft loans, second mortgages, and home equity loans. And I was basically the analyst in a group of four MDs, essentially, and I would do whatever the analytics were required to help securitize that product. And those were typically private placement deals, highly negotiated, and at the time there weren't a lot of public data sources, so there was a deep level of analysis in understanding things such as prepayment rates, credit risk, loss reserving, that through my career has been a good cornerstone because I really got my hands very dirty in a lot of that detail. And in some cases, some of the transactions were the first time those products were ever really sold. I then made a transfer to MBA, which at the time was a sister company. My wife actually was a year behind me in business school, so she got a job in Philadelphia, and so I moved up to Delaware and joined MBA right before it was spun off from MNC Financial. And again, we started in the securitization group, working on negotiating different public market securities or securitizations. And then in early, I think it was 1991, MBA was spun off from MNC Financial. And so I became actually technically the first member of the Treasury team that was on the ground in Wilmington. The treasurer moved up from Baltimore, and initially we were securitizing as a funding source, but then I was given the responsibility to help develop our bank lines, so working with correspondent banks on getting intraday lines as well as different hedging facilities. And then after liquidity was established,